Chosen one, something sacred is about to happen tonight. The air feels different for a reason. The silence around you isn't empty, it's charged, waiting for a divine signal to reach you. Somewhere in this stillness, a message is being written directly to your spirit, not for the eyes or ears of the world, but for the one who has endured, who has waited, who has grown in silence. What you hear tonight will not be ordinary. It will not come from human reason. It will arrive like a whisper that feels ancient, a vibration that carries the weight of destiny. It will sound like your own thoughts, but you'll know it isn't, because it will bring peace, not confusion, direction, not doubt. You will hear a divine instruction, and it will change everything. Before we continue, I want you to pause and open your spirit completely. This moment is not random. You were guided here, drawn to these words by something higher. Watch this video until the very end. There's energy in these words meant to activate what's been sleeping within you. And when your soul feels the resonance, write your warmest wishes and 777 in the comments. That number is not coincidence, it is the vibration of divine completion. It's your way of telling the universe, I'm ready to receive what's meant for me. It aligns your energy with creation itself, setting your desires in motion and clearing the space for divine instruction to unfold. Now listen closely. Tonight is not like any other night. There are moments in time when the universe leans in closer, when the veil between the seen and unseen thins. This is one of those moments. You may feel a strange pull, an unusual quiet inside you. That's not your imagination. That's your spirit becoming still enough to hear. The divine doesn't shout, it speaks softly because truth doesn't need volume, only attention. You've been asking for direction, for clarity, for signs, and tonight you'll receive them, but not in the way you expect. It won't be a voice outside you. It will rise within you. The words may come as intuition, as knowing, as a sudden sense that something is shifting. Don't ignore it. What you hear tonight is not random thought. It's divine language disguised as inner peace. You've been in a season where movement felt impossible. Nothing seemed to align. Doors that once opened easily began to close. You thought you were losing progress, but you weren't. You were being recalibrated. The divine was silencing distractions so you could finally hear instruction. You see, before the next stage of destiny begins, there must be a moment of stillness, a sacred pause where direction can meet readiness. You can't receive new guidance while still clinging to old patterns. That's why everything around you went quiet. The silence wasn't rejection, it was preparation. Tonight, that preparation ends. The message coming to you will not be for everyone. It will not make sense to the people around you, and it's not meant to. When the divine gives instruction, it doesn't seek consensus, it seeks obedience. You've been asking for a sign, and this is it. The confirmation you've been waiting for will come disguised as a simple thought, but it will hit your heart with supernatural clarity. It might tell you to release something you've been holding, to move in a direction that feels uncertain, or to wait when everything in you wants to rush. Whatever it is, you'll know. The divine never speaks in confusion. The moment the message arrives, peace will cover you like a blanket. Your spirit has been tuned to a new frequency lately. That's why things that once thrilled you now feel heavy. Why certain conversations drain you, why you've been pulled away from people you used to depend on. You're not falling behind, you're being elevated. The higher you rise, the more precise the instructions become. When you were still learning, your guidance came through loud signs and obvious patterns. But now, you've matured. The whispers are quieter, but their meaning is deeper. The divine doesn't need to prove itself to you anymore. It trusts that you'll recognize its voice. The message you'll hear tonight is not a reward. It's a responsibility. It will come with weight, but also with peace. It will not flatter your ego. It will strengthen your purpose. The divine is not trying to excite you, it's trying to position you. What you hear tonight will set the direction for the next chapter of your life. It will require faith, not understanding, obedience, not validation. You might not be able to explain it to anyone, but you won't need to because it won't be given to them. It will be yours alone. You'll know it's divine because it will awaken something ancient within you. A knowing that feels older than memory. It will resonate with a part of your soul that remembers promises made long before this lifetime. You might feel chills, warmth, tears, or a sudden calm. Your body will react because it recognizes the frequency of truth. The divine doesn't communicate through fear, it speaks through stillness. So don't rush, don't question, listen. Tonight, your job is not to analyze, it's to receive. And when it comes, write it down, protect it. Guard it like a seed. The instruction may not make sense immediately, but it will unfold perfectly over time. Divine guidance is rarely complete at once, so it's revealed step by step, designed to build your faith as you move. What you hear tonight is only the beginning, the spark that ignites everything else. Trust it enough to act, but not so much that you try to skip the process. The message is holy, it's meant to be lived, not rushed. You'll notice something after hearing it, your energy will shift. You'll no longer crave what you once chased. The things that used to confuse you will suddenly feel clear. You'll have the strength to walk away from what doesn't align, even without knowing what's next. That's what divine instruction does. It restores your peace, redirects your focus, and removes the unnecessary. This night will mark the moment you stopped searching for confirmation and started walking in revelation. The divine will not send you a map. It will give you a compass. The rest unfolds as you move. You don't need to see every step. You only need to trust the first one. And tonight, that first step begins with listening. When you hear it, don't doubt it, don't run from it, don't explain it. Just breathe it in and let it settle. You'll know when it's time to act, because timing is also part of the instruction. Divine messages don't come early, they come right on time, and when they do, they carry everything you need. Strength, clarity, and confirmation. Wrapped in peace. This is your moment. Tonight, the universe speaks your name again. What you hear will not be an accident, it will be a reminder. A reminder that you were never lost, never forgotten, and never alone. The divine hasn't been silent, and it's been waiting for you to become still enough to listen. And now that you are, the instruction will find you. You've probably already begun to sense it, the shift in the air, that quiet tension in your spirit that feels both unsettling and sacred. Something inside you knows that tonight is not ordinary. It feels as if time itself is slowing down, waiting for you to notice what's trying to reach you. The divine doesn't move in chaos, it moves through rhythm. And when that rhythm changes, when you suddenly feel drawn to silence instead of noise, that's your cue. Instruction is approaching. You can almost feel it forming in your mind before it arrives, like a vibration at the edge of awareness. You may be wondering, how will I know it's divine and not my imagination? The difference is in the energy. The divine never shouts, never pressures, never demands. It arrives softly but firmly, with peace that follows its every word. The instruction will not cause anxiety. It will create alignment. It will not confuse you. It will clarify. You'll feel it land in your chest before your mind even understands it. That's how you'll know. Truth always feels like calm before comprehension. The divine speaks in ways that the logical mind cannot decode. Sometimes it comes as a whisper, sometimes through a person whose words suddenly strike deeper than usual, sometimes through a thought so quiet that if you blink you might miss it. It's not the volume of the message that matters, it's the weight. When divine instruction arrives, it carries authority even when it's gentle. It won't sound uncertain. It will sound final. It will call something inside you to attention. You'll feel like you've heard it before, though you haven't, because your spirit recognizes divine frequency long before your mind can explain it. The reason you're hearing it tonight and not before is because timing is sacred. The divine never delivers instruction before your heart is stable enough to obey it. You weren't late to this message, you became ready for it. Every delay, every frustration, every closed door was a way of quieting the parts of you that used to move from fear. You had to be emptied before you could be filled with what's real. Now your energy is calm enough to carry clarity. You've passed the test of restlessness, and that's why this moment found you. You must understand something. Divine instruction doesn't always sound grand. Sometimes it's as simple as wait, sometimes it's let go, sometimes it's forgive. The ego expects lightning bolts, the spirit receives whispers. The instruction may feel small, but its consequences are massive. A single word of obedience can shift years of stagnation. That's why you can't ignore it this time. What you hear tonight might not make sense, but it will make movement. There's a reason the divine speaks in mystery, because mystery builds trust. If everything were clear, faith would never grow. The divine is teaching you to walk by vibration, not by sight. It's teaching you to respond to alignment instead of logic. You've already noticed how life feels heavier when you go against that inner knowing, haven't you? That's the price of ignoring instruction, but when you follow it, everything starts to flow again. Doors open. The right people appear. The timing feels effortless. That's the reward of obedience. This instruction will come when you least expect it. This maybe in the middle of the night, when the world is quiet enough for your spirit to hear. Maybe while you're reflecting, or even doing something mundane. The divine loves to hide revelation in simplicity. Don't wait for a sign in the sky. Expect a whisper in your soul. When it comes, stop everything and listen. Write it down. Don't dismiss it because it feels too subtle. The divine never wastes words. If you hear it, it's because it's time. You might be tempted to share it right away, to tell someone what you've received. But be careful. Divine instruction is often fragile when first delivered. It needs silence to grow roots. When you expose it too soon, you invite interference. Not everyone around you can handle your clarity. Some will question it, not out of malice, but out of misunderstanding. Protect what you've heard until it begins to manifest. Let your actions confirm it before your words explain it. You'll also notice that divine instructions often contradict comfort. They rarely tell you to stay where you are. They tell you to release, to move, to rise, to trust. That's why they require courage. You won't always have details, only direction. But that's how faith matures. You're being taught to trust the path without seeing the whole map. The divine won't reveal every step, because if it did, you'd depend on knowledge, not guidance. Obedience is the currency of breakthrough. The moment you say yes, and even without understanding, the universe begins to rearrange itself around your decision. Energy moves, people shift, circumstances begin to bend in your favor. That's how fast alignment responds to faith. The divine doesn't wait for you to be fearless. It moves when you're willing. The instruction will never come when you feel perfect. It will come when you feel ready enough to try. And you'll notice, once you obey, the next instruction will follow. That's how divine direction works, step by step. The universe doesn't show you the entire staircase. It lights one step at a time. You're not supposed to know everything yet. You're supposed to trust that as long as you follow peace, you'll never be lost. When you receive the message tonight, listen with more than your ears. Listen with your whole being. The divine speaks in frequencies, not just phrases. It's in the goosebumps on your skin, the warmth in your chest, the peace that settles suddenly after confusion. That's your confirmation. That's the universe saying, you've heard correctly. You've been prepared for this. All the waiting, all the silence, all the uncertainty was training. You were learning how to distinguish divine instruction from human noise. You've matured beyond needing constant signs because your intuition has become your compass. Now the divine can trust you with messages that are heavier, deeper, more direct. That's why you're hearing this now. You're no longer a seeker of truth. You've become a steward of it. The words that come tonight may not be many, but they will be enough. They'll carry everything you need to take your next step. You'll recognize them instantly, and also not because they sound special, but because they sound right. And that resonance is proof that the divine is speaking not to your ears, but through your soul. When you hear it, don't just listen, respond. Even a small act of faith can activate miracles. That's what tonight is about, not waiting for magic, but recognizing that obedience is the magic. The divine instruction isn't meant to impress you, it's meant to transform you and insist and immense. And when you follow it, everything you've been waiting for begins to move toward you. When the divine speaks, it doesn't always change your surroundings first, or changes you. That's how transformation begins. The instruction that you hear tonight will not instantly rearrange the world around you. It will rearrange your energy, your focus, and your alignment. It will feel as though something invisible inside you has been reset. You'll wake up tomorrow with new awareness, new calmness, maybe even new hunger for direction. That's what divine guidance does. It sharpens your inner compass before adjusting your outer reality. The universe responds to who you are, not just what you ask for. So before the promise manifests, the instruction comes to shape the person who will carry it. You might not even realize it at first, but the moment you obey that inner whisper, reality begins to shift around you. Suddenly resistance eases. The timing of events seems to flow in perfect order. The people who no longer align quietly fade away while new ones appear, carrying answers you didn't even know you needed. It feels subtle, but that's how destiny moves, quietly, efficiently, divinely. The instruction you heard was a key, and now every locked door begins to recognize your energy. You don't have to force anything anymore, you just have to stay attuned. But here's what many don't realize. The divine doesn't give instruction for convenience, it gives it for correction. It will always stretch you beyond comfort. It may ask you to forgive someone who doesn't deserve it. It may tell you to leave behind something you thought you couldn't live without. It may call you to speak when you'd rather stay silent, or to stay silent when you'd rather speak. The message will challenge your habits because it's meant to evolve your soul. Every divine instruction has a hidden purpose, not just to change your situation, but to elevate your vibration. Obedience is the bridge between revelation and manifestation. Many people hear divine messages but never see results because they listen without action. But when you act, even in small ways, you announce to the universe, I trust the timing more than my logic. That single act of surrender creates a ripple in the spiritual realm. Suddenly, opportunities start aligning that you didn't even pursue. You don't have to chase blessings when you've obeyed instruction. The blessings start chasing you. And yet this path is not always easy. You'll feel moments of doubt. You'll question if you heard correctly. You'll wonder if you're being foolish for trusting something so intangible. But that's the test. Divine instruction often sounds unreasonable before it becomes undeniable. The proof will come only after the step. You were never meant to see confirmation before you act. Confirmation is the reward of obedience. The universe reveals the why only to those brave enough to act on the what. There's something sacred about the space between instruction and outcome. It's where your faith matures. That's where your spirit learns patience, humility, and trust. It's where the noise of fear tries to pull you off course, whispering, maybe you misunderstood. Maybe you should quit, but don't. The very fact that fear is speaking is proof that your obedience is shifting something unseen. Darkness only resists what threatens it. So if everything starts feeling heavier after you obey, that's not a sign you were wrong. It's confirmation that you're being refined. You'll also notice this: after you take that step, silence may return. It doesn't mean the voice has stopped. It means the instruction has. The divine only speaks when new direction is required. Once the message is given, it's your responsibility to act. Silence after revelation isn't punishment, it's partnership. The universe waits for your movement before it sends the next signal. Think of it as sacred choreography. Every step you take releases the next melody. The world will start to feel synchronized again. The timing of events will no longer feel accidental. You'll realize that everything that once felt random was actually deliberate. You'll begin to see the connection between your obedience and the outcomes that unfold. Every moment will carry hidden meaning, every encounter divine purpose. You'll feel as if life itself has begun to speak in your language, and that's exactly what's happening. When you follow divine instruction, you become fluent in destiny, and through it all, peace will stay with you. It may not make sense logically, but you'll carry an unexplainable calm, even when things around you seem uncertain. That peace is your confirmation. The divine doesn't promise an easy path. It promises a guided one. The difference is everything. You may still face challenges, but you'll move through them differently. You'll no longer panic in the unknown because you've learned that the unknown is where revelation hides. You'll no longer doubt when silence returns because you understand that silence is proof of completion. This is how obedience transforms you, not by changing your circumstances first, but by refining your vibration to attract what was already yours. The instruction you received was never random. It was the key to unlock what had been waiting. Now that you've heard it, you can't go back to the old way of living, reacting, guessing, forcing. You've tasted alignment and nothing else will satisfy you. From now on, you'll move differently, slower, steadier, surer. You'll consult peace before decisions, not opinions. You'll measure success not by outcome, but by obedience. You'll start realizing that the divine isn't just speaking to you, it's speaking through you. People around you will feel safer, calmer, more seen. Your words will carry weight even when they're simple. Your presence will bring clarity where confusion once lived. That's because the same instruction that changed your direction is now radiating through your energy. You've become a channel of guidance, not just a recipient. And as you walk this path, you'll see how obedience creates abundance, not just material, but spiritual. Opportunities will multiply, but so will wisdom. You'll begin to understand that blessings without guidance can destroy, but blessings born from obedience sustain. You're not just being blessed to receive, you're being trusted to carry revelation. You're being entrusted to embody divine timing in motion. The voice that spoke tonight will speak again, but when it does, it won't sound foreign anymore. It will sound familiar, like hearing your own heart speak truth. Because it's no longer an outside voice, it's now a part of you. Divine instruction doesn't just guide your steps, it fuses with your identity. You are no longer waiting for signs, you are the sign. And that's how destiny begins, quietly, faithfully, through a single instruction heard in the night that becomes a lifetime of alignment. The divine spoke and you listened. That's all it ever needed. When the divine gives instruction and you obey, reality bends in ways that defy explanation. What once resisted begins to move with you. What once hid now reveals itself. You start noticing divine fingerprints on every detail. The timing of a message, a conversation that feels perfectly placed, an opportunity that arrives without effort. You realize you didn't manifest this through control. You aligned with it through surrender. The difference is everything. Obedience doesn't force, it flows. And when you flow with divine timing, you no longer chase what's meant for you. It simply finds you. Something subtle but profound begins to happen after the instruction is obeyed. The tension that lived inside your spirit begins to dissolve. You're no longer restless because you understand now that destiny isn't random. It's written in vibration, in timing, in alignment. You start moving slower, speaking softer, thinking deeper. You become aware of the rhythm that governs creation, a pulse that was always there but that you can finally hear. You realize that the divine wasn't silent all this time. It was speaking through every delay, every redirection, every pause. The waiting was never wasted. It was training your hearing to recognize truth disguised as stillness. And when you reach this place of inner knowing, peace becomes your permanent atmosphere. It doesn't mean life stops testing you. It means the tests no longer define you. You can walk through storms now and not lose your calm, because you understand that storms aren't interruptions. They're instructions in motion. The same voice that told you what to do tonight is the same one that governs the winds. You've learned to trust that even chaos carries divine order. From this moment on, everything you experience will feel different. You'll start seeing divine patterns everywhere, in timing, in numbers, in encounters. You'll begin to notice that people who once drained you no longer cross your path, and those who are meant to build with you arrive at perfect moments. That's not coincidence, that's your obedience reshaping your reality. The universe always rearranges itself around those who move in divine rhythm. You'll feel yourself positioned with precision, as if unseen hands are guiding your every step. And they are. The beauty of obedience is that it doesn't end with clarity, it multiplies it. Each step you take opens the next, like light spreading across a path, one flame at a time. You no longer need to rush or beg for signs. You've entered a space where signs find you, where confirmation arrives without you asking. That's what divine partnership feels like. You're not just being led, you're co-creating. The divine moves and you move with it. You've learned that the sound of alignment is peace, not pressure. Now you may notice an unfamiliar feeling rising in your heart, a kind of confidence that doesn't come from pride but from presence. You know you're being guided. You can sense when to act and when to wait, when to speak and when to stay silent. It's no longer about predicting outcomes, it's about trusting vibrations. The divine instruction you heard tonight was more than direction. It was initiation. You've stepped into a new level of awareness. You're no longer reacting to life, you're responding to purpose. And with this awareness comes power, quiet, steady power. You begin to understand why some doors had to close, why some people had to leave, why silence had to stretch so long. Every unanswered question now finds its resolution in peace. You see that it wasn't rejection, it was refinement. The divine was never taking from you, it was making room for what you couldn't yet hold. You had to lose the noise to gain the knowing. You had to walk alone so you could learn the language of your own intuition. The world will start reflecting your obedience. Environments will change to match your energy. You'll be drawn to things that nourish your soul, not just your ambition. Your priorities will shift from getting there to being aligned here. You'll stop measuring success by recognition and start measuring it by resonance, how peaceful you feel doing what you do. That's the truest form of prosperity, peace in purpose. You may also notice people drawn to your calmness. They won't know why, but your energy will feel like home. That's because peace has a frequency, and once you live in it, it spreads naturally. You'll speak less, but mean more. You'll give without fear of lack. You'll walk into spaces and bring order simply by existing. The divine doesn't just bless those who listen, it turns them into blessings themselves. You are now walking evidence that stillness is not weakness, that patience is not passivity, and that obedience is not control, it's power in its purest form. It's